Welcome everyone. My name is Grzegorz Galusek and I work for the MFC, and today we will delve into the what we think would be a very exciting exploration of the world of social enterprises. And we have a couple of great experts with us today, and let me introduce them to you. So we have Teresa Zagrodzka, who is a senior expert in social enterprise financing and a professional advisor for the NGO sector. Teresa led the social economy unit at TISE. TISE stands for the Social Enterprise Financing and Microfinance as well institution, which is based in Poland, where she implemented a pilot program for preferential loans for social enterprises. Teresa has a lot of experience in working with social enterprises. She also, what's interesting is that she also developed financial instruments for social enterprises in Slovakia, Slovenia, Croatia, and Hungary. And also Teresa contributed to the creation of a support ecosystem for social enterprises in North Macedonia. Teresa is an author of numerous articles and publications on finance management and basic accountancy for non-accountants. Okay, and we also have with us Beata Biela.
Good morning.
And Beata is with the MFC, is MFC's advocacy manager. And Beata also has a professional background with significant experience in the social economy sector. And Beata also worked for TISE, also for the social economy unit, but also for the social venture capital. And Beata's past experience also includes roles at Caritas Somalia, Finance Commission of Caritas International in Rome, and Beata also worked for one of the biggest, if not the biggest NGO that specializes in first aid, and that is Polish Humanitarian Action. And before that, what's interesting, Beata also worked for a number of corporations. Just a few household rules for today. So let's move to the next slide. The webinar will last about 90 minutes, and then we'll also have questions and answers. We record this webinar, which is one of the requirements of our sponsor, about whom I'll tell a few words in a minute. Recording, of course, allows us also to post it on the Commission and the MFC website. So the content will be available also to the people who cannot participate today. Please feel free to ask questions during the webinar. I think Teresa doesn't mind that at all. So we, on top of having a Q&A question by the end, please feel free to post your question via the chat function, or even you can also make yourself available by switching the camera on and posing your question. And
hello to everyone, and I strongly encourage you to ask questions so that it will be also more interesting, I think, for you and for me as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Perhaps it's a good moment also to ask which countries do you come from? There aren't very many people yet, but we're hoping that more will join us. I think we had over 40 people signing up, so we expect a few more. But if you don't mind, maybe jotting in the chat function the country maybe even the institution, country, and feel free to also say whether your institution has experience of working with social enterprises or is planning to engage in this kind of a work. So please feel free to add this information to the chat function, and I can already see one from Kartica, which is a cooperative bank in Greece. That's great. Please carry on filling up this information. Where I will focus a little bit on the webinar sponsor, and that is the SIFTA program. Can we move? Actually, okay. Yes. Yeah. So you may have heard the story. SIFTA is part of this InvestEU, which is the largest, the most significant EU investment plan ever, and it's great that this plan also envisages support for micro and social enterprises on top of the support of other types of enterprises. So there is a special TA, technical assistance program, that aims to help providers of finance to micro enterprises and social enterprises, and it has been organized within the EU Advisory Hub. So except for various financial instruments pillars of this plan, it also has this advisory hub providing technical assistance, and one of the pillars of this plan is SIFTA. Let's move on. This program, SIFTA, which is, as you can see, the full name, Social Inclusion Finance Technical Assistance Program, it consists of two components. One is actually the advisory part. So as part of this segment of the program, we are organizing this webinar, and the other one is about rating, assessment, and evaluation, which is about evaluating institutions that participate in the program. And this evaluation has two goals. One is, of course, to spot different challenges that the institution faces in being a good practice type of provider of finance. And the other goal is actually to help institution pass, improve, and then pass the Code of Good Conduct, which is the European certification program that allows access to various EU financial instruments. So many institutions that start with SIFTA for the first time have to go through this rating and evaluation part, and then once there is a list of things that need to be improved, we build on that technical assistance program plan that will help institution improve on those points that were spotted by the evaluators, and apply for the Code of Good Conduct certification and participate in the TA program. So that's more or less how it works. Let's move to the next slide. It's an EU program, so only EU-based institutions can participate in it. And as I mentioned, not only microfinance institutions, but also social enterprise finance providers can participate in it, and they include investment funds, impact investors, incubators, accelerators, and others that offer services to the social enterprises. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So the three institutions that implement this program, it is managed by the European Investment Bank, and but the implementation is carried out by the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management, together with Microfinance Center, which is us, and the European Microfinance Network. The evaluation part is conducted by Microfinanza rating. Those who've gone through this program know that each institution is entitled to a certain number of technical assistance days, which are provided free of charge, so a great opportunity to each institution, and also to a special program of study visits, peer exchanges, and others that are also paid for by the program and aim at getting to know other institutions and their practices, and exchanging information with other peers. So it's actually quite easy to get on this program. You should write an email to EIB. You have this email on the screen. It's SIFTA at eib.org. And they will respond to you. And if you qualify, they will first send a short questionnaire to fill out, and then they'll send the contract. The program ends in June next year, so I think you still have time to actually apply and get a full suite of services, but you have to hurry a little bit if you haven't considered participating in this program yet. So at this stage, I would like to go back a little bit before I introduce the agenda and ask our experts to pick up from me. I would like to say a few words about a couple of upcoming events. So on Thursday this week we'll have a webinar on AI solutions for microfinance, and we have asked great experts to lead this seminar, this webinar. It's actually one of the series of webinars on AI that we are planning. I will say a few words about the next one in a moment, but let's move to the next slide. I would like to also encourage all of you to sign up for the MXC conference that will take place in Poland this year on 14th and 15th. We have already almost 100 people that have signed up. It is truly the greatest and the biggest microfinance event in Europe, if not worldwide. And people who actually sign up for the conference and have already enrolled will also have a chance to participate in the two events that are associated with the conference. One is a face-to-face pre-conference workshop also on the AI. So that's the event that I have mentioned before. It will be a continuation on deepening of the ideas and thoughts that will be put across during the Thursday webinar. And we'll also have a CEO forum. Those of you who have participated in MXC conferences before know that we have this special, rather exclusive event for CEOs and other members of coming from the management teams of microfinance and social finance institutions. And this year's event will also be organized under the auspices of SIFTA. We have also lined up a few great experts. Sorjit Rana, who is one of the greatest technology leaders, I would say, worldwide, who will join us for this event. We'll have Frankfurt School and practitioners, representatives, and also an AI expert from Poland. Okay, so, it's time, I think, to move to the content of today's webinar. What we would like to, so first we would like to discuss the EU commitments. It will be clear to all of you soon that EU is taking social enterprises very seriously, and my colleague Beata will explain what it means. Then after Beata's introduction about the EU support for the social enterprise sector, we will deepen our understanding of what social enterprises are, the different forms they take, and the causes they champion. Then we will delve into the financial side of things. Of course, social enterprises need resources to fuel their impact, and so we will explore the funding landscape from grants to innovative investment models. Then there will be time for the real question, and that is, can a business that is driven by a social good, can it be also financially sustainable? Is it a contradiction or powerful combination? So we'll try to crack this issue and discover how actually social enterprises can achieve this. Let's call it a miracle. And then finally, we'll explore why you should be part of the social enterprise ecosystem. And so this will be your chance to learn how to analyze social enterprises, identify the gems making a difference, and potentially become part of the journey towards a better future that encompasses this type of businesses. So without any further ado, I would like to ask my colleague Beata to say a few words about the EU commitment and EU support to social enterprises.
Okay, so let me share the screen. And okay, I would like to present shortly what are the European Commission developments and commitments to social economy. And to make this short, let me just summarize two initiatives. One is Social Economy Action Plan, which was adopted in 2021 in December. And the aim is to focus on social investment to support social economy and also to focus on job creation. And the time gap for implementation of the Social Economy Action Plan is until 2030. And as it is action plan, so there are actions there, and there are 10 main actions, key actions to be implemented by Social Economy Action Plan. And as you can see, there is Council recommendation, which we will discuss a bit further. There is EU Social Economy Gateway. Maybe some of you had already chance to see and visit this webpage. If not, I encourage, because there is a lot of information on EU funding, policies, initiatives, countries, whatever actually you would need. Maybe it's there, but it's already quite rich in information. The next initiative is YEPA, or Youth Entrepreneurship Policy Academy. And the aim of this initiative is to encourage young people and just to improve prospects for them to be young entrepreneurs, especially social entrepreneurs. The next initiative is European Competence Center for Social Innovation. And the aim is to facilitate transnational partnership, exchange of experience, capacity building, networking. By social initiative, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it focuses on partnership between social economy and mainstream business and financial products under InvestEU, just to mention a couple of them. And as you can see, the Social Economy Action Plan focuses on three areas, main areas. It's creating the framework for conditions for social economy to develop and thrive. It's just providing opportunities, including access to finance and support for capacity building, but it also enhances recognition of social economy as such. And just to a bit expand on Council recommendation, because I think it's important over the next couple of years. It was actually, it's quite recent. It was adopted in November 2023. And it aims at encouraging member states, because it's not obligatory, but it's still encouragement to member states to either adopt or update their social economy strategies. And to do this, the member states had 24 months of the adoption of the recommendation. It could be also kind of integration of the social economy into relevant strategies or policies. And what is important is that actually the recommendation promotes also regular involvement, not only of regional local authorities, but also about for social economy entities and representative organizations. And this involvement should be in monitoring and evaluating the implementation process of the strategies. And as you can see, the main areas of interest in recommendation is fostering access to the labor market and social inclusion through social economy, developing enabling frameworks, including access to finance and visibility and recognition, and just union support to implement the recommendations. And what we will see that also there is, after 4 years of adoption, it's been recommended that the member states report to the Commission on the implementation, and again 5 years afterwards. So that's in in process and in progress currently. We will see in the coming years and months a lot of developments under this recommendation. So that's more or less the snapshot, because we would like to go probably to the main part of the session just to focus on the analyzing social enterprises. So from my side, thank you very much, and I give floor to Teresa. Thank you very much.
And that if I could ask just one question, what is the significance of all of this?
It's just focusing because, well, the very important thing is that social economy, also including microfinance, is just taking the floor and just getting the voice. And it starts to be also regulating adoption of the social economy action plan is very significant achievements, that the topic is really important at the EU at the council level.
Okay, so it's the topic is important, but any kind of a practical, any practical recommendation that you would give to people vis-a-vis this plan? You mentioned the portal.
What's important? Well, in portal, it depends on the needs. If you need kind of funding, you can look at the portal and just look for different programs and just look also for the funding which is adopted and accessible to your country, to your eligibility criteria. And also, for example, you would like to see how social economy is in Bulgaria. So you can go to the social economy gateway and just look for Bulgaria and other country in EU and just see how social economy is defined, is organized in the specific country. For example, because there are a lot of other information, there are also events under social economy gateway. You can just look through the calendar and just see the events which are available to attend.
Okay, good. So thank you for these tips, which we need very badly. Thank you.
Thank you.
And good. So over to Teresa.
Thank you, Beata, for a nice introduction to EU funding, and Grzegorz for all our introduction. And to all participants, welcome warmly. And I'd like to encourage you to write down which country you come from. It's good to know that there are people, for example, from Greece. And I hope that you have nicer weather than in Warsaw, when we have just 6 degrees and it's quite cold. I would like to share with you my experience of financing NGO sector and social enterprises, which that sector started to be developed in Poland from 21st century, more or less. And to share with you my 2 perspectives. One is working inside social enterprises, and the second one to be on the side of ecosystem of supporting social enterprises. So first of all, I would like to show you some definitions of social enterprises that we used also in the parameters when we create financial instruments for what kind of entities we can offer preferential instruments. So, following the EU, the EIF definition, it doesn't matter which entity, legal entity, is the social enterprise. It can be company, it can be foundation, association, so it can be also commercial entity, under condition that they have as a primary objective social impact objectives, and that this is the objective that drive the business. The second very important parameter, this is limited distribution of profits. And as you see in EIF definition, it's not forbidden to share the profits within the owners, but it's strongly limited up to, for example, 30% per year. And which is also very important, this is management of the social enterprise in a very transparent, which is obvious for all entities, but also in the participative and method, including all employees or members to management of the enterprise. As for the Polish definition, and basically, as I told you, we started more or less in early 2006. We had the first law on social cooperatives, but the law on social enterprise was introduced actually a year ago. So it defines that it can be entity like foundation, association, social cooperatives, or any other mutual cooperatives. And very specific for Poland, a company with limited responsibility, which is called not-for-profit, which means that making financial surplus is not the main target of the company. We also have social centers for integration, which are actually the entities in which you can learn how to work, how to be punctual, how to come every day to work. So these are the centers in which people from disadvantaged group can attend for 12 months, and then they need to go to either open market or to social enterprises concentrated on particular groups of people. Also, social enterprise needs to run economic activity, which is obvious because this is enterprise. This has to be focused on professional reintegration of people. So this is the reference to what Beata used to say, that one of the recommendation, the EU recommendation, is inclusion of people from disadvantaged groups. So this is also underlined in Polish definition. And another group of organizations which can receive the status of social enterprise. This is those that deliver social services like elderly people care or children care or others. So following the Polish definition, we have defined legal entity and area in which those entities work for. What is also very important, that social enterprise needs to employ people. And maybe this is not, this might strike you that this is one of the conditions, but in Poland there are some organizations like foundation or association that can work with the volunteers work. But social enterprise needs to employ people. And the same as in the EU EIF definition, this participative democratic model of governance. And last but not least, and probably one of the most significant factor, this is limited distribution, or rather we would say limited only to social impact objectives of the profit of social enterprise. So this is more strict than the EU definition. The same will be in, for example, North Macedonian law. I participated in creating that law, and then they also decided to limit it 100% the distribution of the profit. So in what areas we have the social enterprises, which is also, I think, important from the point of view of financial analysis and defining what level of amount of financing is needed for those organizations. So as you see, these are rather small businesses. I would say if you follow this definition, micro, small, and other enterprises. So these are in Poland, in most cases, micro enterprises. So this is catering, very popular, since there are lots of people who like and who know how to cook. And on the other hand, the need for cooking that you would like to buy is absolutely growing in Poland. So catering and restaurants, these are the sectors which develop very well. And children care, elderly people care. I suppose that elderly people care is also a growing demand in your countries, so which is not easy business, mainly due to lack of people who would like to work in those places. Cleaning, repairs, these are the services that usually local communities can order at the social enterprises. Education, culture, tourism. Tourism is very developed in North Macedonia, for example. Vegetable fruit cultivation, this is also very developed sector for social enterprises. As you see, these are the areas which do not require high qualities, high competences from people that we can employ. And sometimes social enterprise is just a place where people learn how to do different works. And then they go to open market when they are better educated. So these are different roles of social enterprises. Some people stay forever because they need that kind of relationship created with social enterprise. And some people who would like to develop, they go to open market. And this is also one of the aim of social enterprises. One of the the strangest business, this is earthworm breeding. I met it in North Macedonia, and there were people who were just working with this earthworm, a bit strange for me. There are also social enterprises which deal with job placement, for example, for people with disabilities. And for a long time in Poland, there were job centers for people with disabilities that were financed from EU funds, because employment of those people by commercial companies, the other way, commercial companies, we needed to encourage them to employ people with disabilities. Although in Poland there is the government system which encourages entrepreneurs to employ people with disabilities through special funds which make subsidies to their salaries. But still, it was not, I would say, mentally accepted by entrepreneurs targeted on financial result. To employ people who, by definition, in their thinking, might be weaker than other employees. But in some job positions, it may turn out that those people are even better than people without disabilities. So at the end, we also realize that we make inequality in employing people with disabilities by saying, if we employ a person with disabilities, you do not have to pay. But if you want to employ a person, for example, IT guy, you have to pay to a job placement agency. So now we have social enterprises which sell to entrepreneurs, classical entrepreneurs, who make the employment for payment to classical entrepreneurs. And you can find lots of people, IT guy, very needed at the market, who are, for example, on wheelchair, but they are really brilliant IT persons. So I want to show you that this perspective, this attitude, approach to making business, including social issue, also is changing within the sector. Okay, so some numbers about the sector. I just would like to make to you the helicopter overview. If we look at the number of social enterprises, this is very, I would say, tricky and difficult to define very properly what the number is, since the definition from different point of view are slightly different. If we say that in France we have 200,000, Italy several thousand. So in Poland, following our statistical office, we say there are 97 of social enterprises. But in fact, if we look at the statistic run by the NGO sector, we know that we have about 130,000 of NGOs altogether, which include social enterprises. But those that run economic activity, maybe following this NGO statistics, we have about 30,000. So these are the differences in the approach of statistic office and the NGO sector. What is very important, the number of employees. So here you have see a high disproportion. In Poland, 200,000 comparing to almost 100,000 entities, or even 30,000 entities, is not a very high number. That's why I told you that when we talk about the definition, this indicator of employing people inside social enterprise is very important for Poland. as you see in Macedonia, this is just growing social enterprises system, and there are no statistics actually. So within one EU project, we made questionnaires, survey on those that declare to be social entrepreneurs. So that's why the numbers are very low comparing to others. The legal forms: foundation, association, cooperatives, company with limited liabilities. We also have sheltered work, which are the places for people with disabilities. And some of them can stay in this shelter workshop for the whole working life. Some people who are more self-confident, I would say rather, they try to find the job on open market. And actually, this is the target of Shelter Workshop in Poland, to support people with disabilities to find then the work on open market. Objectives, social impact objectives. The number of different objectives which include social impact is really, I would say, unlimited. There are, as you see here, I enumerate some numbers. When we talk about social impact, basically the number is rather social objective, not social impact. But until we do not develop in this assessment of social impact of social enterprises or any other activities, this is one, let's say, first step solution to define where we can talk about social impact. So very easy to calculate, to measure, is the number of created working places for people from disadvantaged groups, for people with disabilities. But also, it's very important the number of sustained working places. So I would say that during the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, it was really a success for social enterprises and also for other companies just to continue their business. So this sustainability of the enterprise as an employer is also very important social impact. We can also talk about the numbers of people who are under, who are not under the stationary care, I would say, but who can lead the independent life in their local community. And this is very important for people. And when we measure the social impact, it's also important from the financial point of view of the state, because later those people have to go to the houses for elderly people financed by the government. I would say maybe cynically, but less money the government would spend for their care, stationary care. So as you see in social impact, we can measure the quality, the increase of quality of life of those people, the level of the independence, but also we can calculate, let's say, the savings of the state, which doesn't have to finance their stay in the stationary places. So social impact assessment, I think this is very, very interesting area. And at least in Poland, we have lots of here to develop. So if we know more or less what is social enterprise, so what are the needs for social enterprises? What kind of supports they need? So definitely, if we talk about financing, so they need for investments and investments, but you don't have to think about $100 million as we can think about big businesses like buying factories, developing the business of building houses or whatever, or financing businesses. But these are investments like buying premises to have sustainability of their activities, or buying equipment, tools, vehicles. So they are not very costly, but they are very needed for their work. Sometimes they need money for employment and for preparing people to be employed, for training, for buying some tools, for creating the working place for them. They also need, and this is very huge demand in Poland, they need money for liquidity, for cash flow. They do not do very big contracts, but even if a contract is on 5,000–10,000 euro, sometimes they are not able to take it because they don't have their own money. What is also very interesting, they need money for innovations. I will say a few words about social innovations later on, which are developing areas in Poland. And these are very small initiatives which do not need huge money. And basically, as any enterprise, they need money for development, for increasing the managerial skills, for development and training of people. So this development is considered in many areas. So now, before we enter more deeply into financial instruments, I would like Joanna to ask you to open the poll for everyone. We would like to ask you just one question. Whether you have experience in financing social enterprises, and if yes, in what form? Loan, social venture, grants. 4 people answered, 5, 6. Yes. Oh, it's interesting that no one used grants so far. Actually, I don't know how many people joined us. I think we stopped here. So loans, I see that this is the most popular financial instrument here that you use. That's good. I saw that some of you come from microfinance institution. No one social venture capital. It's interesting. We have one experience in Poland. Other financial instruments, that's interesting. If you could write on chat what kind of other instruments. And okay, 30% no one. Thank you very much for your answers. So I'm not sure whether you can see those answers. Probably
yes, we can see them. We can see the answers.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Grzegorz. Okay, so let's start from yes, let's start from enumerating these financing instruments: grants, loans, guarantees, social venture capital. Of course, the most required, the most attended instruments for social enterprise. These are grants. And loans are the instrument. The loan is an instrument that social enterprises need to learn how to use it. In Poland, we started granting loans over 10 years ago. We have a pilot project financed by EU. And what was interesting there, that actually we had to search for organization which would like to take a loan, which would dare have enough courage to take a loan. And it was very difficult. It was deep work in all around Poland, working with centers for social enterprises, with centers for social support, with many organizations, supporters for NGO sector, that would help us to find people who would be able mentally, but also, of course, who would be able financially to take a loan. And guarantees, this is interesting instrument that we used with EU money. And social venture, Beata dealt with social venture capital in the same institution that I worked for. So it was also a pilot project in Poland. When we started with grants, it was when EU funds were inflowed in Poland. In 2004, we started the Equal project, in which we could get grants for social enterprises. We could make some investments, and we could create working places. So with the time, we learned to use EU money for the purposes that can help us to develop. We could receive special grants for creating working places. So I would say that always, either in loans or in grants, when we started to use EU money, the incentive, I would say, of in the form of employment of people with from disadvantaged groups, of employment of people, was very important indicator of the success of projects. Now we have the grants also for some operational costs, like salaries of people. We have some money for training, for consultancy. So the grants become more limited to start the enterprise, but less to invest to buy premises or other stuff. So these are, I would say, some assets can be bought from grants, but they are not of high amounts.
And excuse me, Taras, just a clarifying question. When you say we, is it you? Do you mean Poland, or is it TISA? Or...
Yes. Yes, I'm talking about Polish experience, okay. That we use the grants for about 20 years, but this perspective of granting social enterprises, it's been changing within the times which goes now. So we started from the grants just for maybe for creating model of social enterprises. I remember one of the project which was called In Research for Polish Model of Social Enterprise. And I would say we didn't find so far the very defined model. It's just changing with the time.
And another question, if I could ask quickly, if,
yes.
For instance, for this hybrid model, are there instances, examples of actually loans and grants in one contract, that you offer a loan, but there is a grant component for the type of costs that you mentioned, just
yes.
Okay.
So we can get a
okay.
We can get a grant, for example, for purchase of equipment, but from the grant we cannot pay the VAT tax, and the enterprise doesn't have own money to pay the VAT tax, which is in Poland on the level of 23%. So they need to take the loan to be able to use the grant. This is one of the examples. The hybrid model, I would say, also in terms of loans, because there are some loans that can be, of which the capital can be decreased to be paid if the loan is used for particular objective. For example, when the war in Ukraine started in 2022, the Polish government issued the new product of a loan. It was called the missionary loan, and then the 20% of the loan of the capital was decreased if the loan was used to support refugees from Ukraine. So
by a social enterprise.
For social enterprises, yes, for social enterprises. Okay, the guarantee. This is interesting, very interesting instrument. This is more interesting for those social enterprises which are developed, because they need to have higher loans. And in Poland, we do not have too many funds that can give guarantees. The guarantee will also needed for grants, because the EU funds require guarantee for the highest amount of tranche to be wired to organizations. But for social enterprises, the guarantee can really encourage financing institutions like microfinance to grant a loan to social enterprise. And the program that we had used from EIF within the EASY program was very useful to encourage financing institutions to grant loans for bigger amounts. The loans were up to 320,000 euro. So with this money, you could really make some bigger investments. What was interesting that the guarantee could be used as a collateral up to 50% of the capital. The success of the program, I would say, were some initiatives that were really doing very well. But maybe you can think about a default of the program when we say that we used the whole money that was in the guarantee fund. So it means it was needed. Definitely the default level of social enterprise, well, the loans that cannot be paid back, they also happen as in every sectors. But it was worth to try to support some organizations, which really continued to be very successful after that.
But were those actually the default level of this program?
Up to 2 million euro. It was the fund, the guarantee fund, and for the capital of loans about 8 million euro.
Mm-hmm. And how many social enterprises did not manage to pay back, were in default of this?
Well, we used the whole 2 million, and how many organizations? I think that maybe Bata remembers better, but I think that there were about 30 social enterprises that used that guarantee, and probably for 2 million we had about 10, less than 10, something like that. These were organizations from Slovakia, Hungary, and Poland. And I think one in Croatia we had. So unfortunately, I saw here, I think Beatrix, one of the first participants of that webinar. She's from, you are from Hungary. So unfortunately, the project from Hungary didn't succeed. But it was very interesting one. It was about people from other countries, refugees or other people who stayed in Hungary, and they tried to make the cultivation of potatoes in terms of selling that potatoes to restaurants. But unfortunately, the pandemia, the coronavirus pandemia came, and they didn't survive, didn't succeed with that. So the last instrument, no one of you marked that in our poll. Poland had the first pilot project, also financed from EU money. This is social venture capital. It was really a question whether we need, and whether the social enterprises in Poland are ready to use that instrument. And one of the biggest success, I would say, this is the kindergarten created as a social, as an enterprise with limited liabilities. And I remember that enterprise from the very beginning, when they had just a small club for less than 10 children in, let's say, 3 rooms, local, leased by the local government, and there were 3-4 persons involved. And today they have 2 kindergartens, and they have their own premises, so they can keep the sustainability. They do not, they are not afraid that the local community changes. Now we have the collections, the elections in local communities, and new local government will change the decision, and they will not have the local in which they invested. So this was very good strategy of development of that enterprise. And they used the social venture capital instrument for buying the premises. And their business is really sustainable. They can employ different women from, we would say, disadvantaged groups, like women with some disabilities, like women who are single mothers. There are some ladies from Ukraine, because there are many women who came to us last 2 years, but also before there were lots of people from Ukraine here in Poland. These are, of course, not disadvantaged groups, but these are just people who are looking for work. So this social enterprise is dealing really very well. And I observed they step by step building their social enterprise. What are other forms of financing, we would say, in brackets, financing social enterprise? These are, for example, contracts that this is very good contribution to development of social entrepreneurship. Local governments or other public institutions, they can make an order for various products produced by social enterprises. There is a very well-known foundation, Synapsis, over 30 years of activities in Poland. First organization which I would say recognize autism as a dysfunction. Today, this is disease, mental disease, and they created the place for people with autism, adults with autism, in which they can work, and they produce this kind of lovely stuff. Another sample, this was the Polish government agency, which also announced a tender for different social enterprises for, let's say, marketing products. As you see, the stuff is lovely. The color, that turquoise color is very nice here. Another very interesting instrument that we only touched here in Poland, but it's very developed in other countries, for example, in England. I'm not sure about Ireland, as I saw someone from Ireland is here on our chat. These are social impact bonds. This is very interesting concept, which says that they pay the payment for the social services is done following the results achieved. So here we have the owner of the social issue, for example, elderly people care. We have the organization, social enterprise, which can deliver specific, very well targeted activities towards elderly people, but they need money to run the services. And the owner of the social issue will pay only if the targets, the indicators of success will be achieved. And that's why we need here a financing institution which gives loans money to the social enterprise to run activities. So here you have like three entities which make an agreement to, and all of them are engaged in the delivery of social impact indicators. So it was very well functioning in Austria. And we met some investor who told us that what's interesting for him in the social impact bonds innovation, that his money can be turned and used to support some social impact activities. So maybe he didn't care too much about the capital. If he loses 10% of the capital, it was okay for him. But he really cared for supporting different social initiatives. In Poland, what was very incentive for potential investors, this was the mitigation risk fund that was proposed by the EU money. Unfortunately, we didn't succeed with the social impact bonds project, we only managed to create to define the model of this activities. But then the coronavirus came, and we are afraid that the risk is too high to start this initiative. Okay. The last, maybe this is not an instrument, but this is another form of development of social enterprises. This is the social franchise. Again, we had the pilot project in Poland, finalized 2 years ago. It was difficult to choose which social enterprise, which model of social entrepreneurship in Poland can be multiplied, can be developed in a franchise model. We found maybe specific, maybe surprising for you business. It is the brewery. And they run the social pub because the brewery was founded by the social cooperative. It exists and still functions north of Poland, but within the social franchise, 3 more pubs were created in 3 more cities. In Toruń, Rybnik, Rzeszów. So this is central and south of Poland. And 2 of them still exist. One of them, which was created just in 2020, so just at the beginning of coronavirus, didn't survive. Yes, Grzegorz? No, I thought that there is a question to that. So what is social impact here? The brewery employs people with mental disabilities. The lady, very energetic one, she was on the list of 100 women who changed the words social needs in place, introduces and answers to social needs. She created social cooperative. She is the mother of 2 guys with disabilities, mental disabilities, and she decided to create working places for people like her sons. So usually, if you observe the social enterprises, you have this roots, very personal involvement, and maybe this is one of the success targets of this miracle of that business. And she created the brewery, and she employs their people with mental disabilities, and she created the pub in which they sell this beer, and they employ in the pub not less than 80% of the staff. And what is also very important, that she implemented special program of integration for those people, for this whole staff of the pub, which is called To Understand the Depth. She is fan of diving, and she organizes the special trips with diving for those people. She says that under the water, everyone is on the same level. And these diving courses encourage people with disabilities and other people to cross their personal borders of fear, of being under the water, whatever. So this is kind of a model of working with people with disabilities in terms of integration and raising their independence to live and to work. Okay, so short information about the indicators, the parameters of loans that we had in Poland. As you see, At the beginning, there were microloans up to 25,000 euro. Then they were increased up to 500,000 euro. Long periods, again, it depended on the amount of the capital. Very important grace period, because at the beginning, no social enterprise was able to pay back the capital. Very interesting interest rate. There were some loans on the 0%, and no administration fee. And what was very important, the declaration of social impact areas, which were implemented or developed with that investments with the loan, or the number of people that would be employed and will keep that work for at least 6 months. So this employment was very important indicator. Maybe very important issue for you from the point of financing analysis, it is the collateral. And it is the big issue for all social entrepreneurs, since they, as you probably realize, they do not have assets. So the basic one was promissory note, which is, let's say, not a real collateral. This is rather the title for a fast way to require the capital to be returned. No mortgage. Sometimes when organization was buying an equipment or vehicles within the loan, so assets were also pledged as a collateral for the loan. Almost no institution in Poland, non-banks or security insurance institutions dare to guarantee the loans for social enterprises, because the analysis is very difficult for them. They do not have the concrete models like, the spreadsheet in which they have all these parameters, financial parameters, so it's very difficult to assess. And the market of social entrepreneurs is not very big in Poland, so there is no use to spend time on making this model. And what is very difficult for social entrepreneurs, this is that they very often are asked for personal collateral. And they do that, they sign the promissory note with personal collateral. But I would say this is, for me, very difficult to ask them for that. When I used to work in the department granting loans, because I know that they do not have also personal assets. They do not have money. They earn very low salaries. They really are involved in that business. And so we tried to make as minimum as possible this personal collateral, for example, 10% of the capital. Okay, so I'm not sure whether there are any questions to that, Grzegorz, on chat. If not,
there's actually one question that we kind of looked over from Arthur, but maybe you can address it now, or you can address it later. It's about the criteria. What are the criteria to be classified as a social enterprise? But that's I think you covered this.
Yeah.
This through your definition, but maybe we can go back to this slide for a little bit. Maybe at the end of the whenever actually you feel like doing so.
Okay. So I will do that with these slides on analysis of the risk. So first of all, when we approach to analysis of social enterprise, in the definition in Poland, we know that this is either foundation, association, social cooperative, and other mutual cooperatives, or company with limited liabilities, not for profit. And this social impact purpose is the critical that we have to define with the organization which applies to us for a loan or for a grant as well. Why is it that? Because we have some preferential rates for social enterprises, and we need to know how to assess their finances, which are slightly different. So the legal entity, then the purpose on investment. We need to understand what the social entrepreneur would like to change within the life of the social enterprise, what they really need. And this is always very critical, I would say, and interesting discussion with people, because some of them are really, they have dreams which cannot be true. And I would say that this is very important work from the part of financing institution, microfinance institution, to understand what are the financial capacities of social enterprises, and what are their dreams, and what can be really true. So sometimes we were saying to our clients, please, we will not grant you a loan for that because this is not good for your enterprise. Let's think about your investment for idea slightly different. And so I would say that sometimes it's good not to grant a loan to social enterprise in terms of saving them some defaults. I'd like to pay your attention to the P&L analysis. Basically, if we observe the surplus in reference to turnover, and if we observe the positive capitals, then we think that it's good, the organization is in good condition. And basically, it is true also for social enterprises. On the other hand, if you observe the negative result on P&L, and if we observe the negative capitals on capitals, you might think that the situation is very bad. But sometimes this negative results can result from the delay of the grant. And if the grant should arrive last year, but it was delayed by financing institution, by EU funds, whatever, on the next year, then you might see the negative result in P&L. And if the organization has not too many assets, it can cause the negative own capitals. So here, I just would like to pay your attention to that. The negative doesn't mean always negative situation. Okay, another issue, which is also very important. As I wrote in the slide, managers of social enterprises, maybe in 70% in Poland, are illiterate in finances, in numbers. Whenever you ask, what is your negative result in P&L, they can answer you, oh, I have to ask my accountant. So, the accountancy, this is like mystery area in which they do not enter. They have lots of numbers in their heads. So I would say they run more or less economically properly the businesses, but they cannot show you what number means what. So here we have to be patient, and here we have to make an education to them, to show them how to read their own financial results and financial statements. Okay, then we need to receive from them just classical business plan. If the social enterprise cannot present us the business plan, it doesn't have to be, you know, in a very properly layout of Canva of business plan, but they need to know what they want to sell, what are their potential clients. They need to calculate what should be income to make the rentability, how much they need for investments, whether they have some possibilities to gain contracts in the nearest 12 months. They need to know what they sell, whether they sell product of good quality or, and this is very rare, they want to sell I would say the image of being social enterprise. And I would say that this needs to be very properly balanced. They are an enterprise which is specifically concentrated on social issues, but it doesn't mean that they have to sell their mission. They have to sell products which are created with the mission. And they sell the product to get profits to develop their mission. So this is very important for the brand and for marketing what they really sell. Selling just social issues, this is not business, this is charity. They need to sell product and mission. Very important, this is our people. And I think that in every business, if the social enterprise is just one person run institution, it will not work. And we have many social enterprises, which, or I would say, we have many leaders of social enterprises that think that they are not replaceable. So this is, again, a huge work of ecosystem, social enterprises ecosystem, to teach managers, leaders, to share their knowledge, their experience with others. And and social enterprise needs to be well rooted locally. They cannot be like an island. They cannot be like the enterprise, which doesn't pay attention doesn't look for partners. Local community is one of the basic partners for social enterprises, in particular in small cities. One of the most important, I would say, in financial analysis, this is credibility. This is building relationship with social enterprise. This is your belief in the business, whether it will work. And since the process of analyzing social enterprise is not very short. I mean, we need to get to know each other, and we need to trust each other. They need to trust us. So they need to trust that we will not, as a lending institution, tell them, okay, 30 days you have delay, you need to pay immediately the capital, otherwise we withdraw the agreement. They need to know that we support them. So I would say that at the beginning, we sit on the other sides of the table, getting to know each other. But then we need to move to their side to support them, because their success is also our success. as a financing institution. And collateral, as I told you, this is a very, very risky and how to say, this is important to properly measure collateral requirements to the business and to this trust that we created within this relationship that we created within the analysis towards social entrepreneurs. In particular, this balance between our belief and success of the social enterprise can be seen when we talk about social innovations. These are rather small initiatives, and in Poland they are supported with small grants like 5,000 euro. But those innovators, they need the most just moral human support. They need to know that someone believes in their business. Now, some examples, because stop with theory. I told you that financial analysis is very long. I mean, like very long, maybe not so long, like 2 weeks. No, it shouldn't be longer than 1 month. But while we're working in TISA and at the beginning of the pandemic, probably everywhere there was huge demand for face masks. So many social enterprises started to sew these masks, but they didn't have their own money to buy material. So we made, in 2 days, the loan. It was about 10,000 euro, so not a very big one, for social enterprise that we know well, and for materials for sewing these masks. And then they were sewing the mask almost 24 hours per day. Another company, it is very interesting, let's say, consortium of organizations that created a company with limited liabilities. It was very famous, well-known in Poland, Foundation Barka, for which deals with people, homeless people, and all people who are from disadvantaged groups like alcoholic, drug takers, also some people with disabilities. They have lots of centers in West Poland for them. They have cultivation fields. They really think that those people can come back to normal life by work, by being noticed, and by giving them second chance to start a new life. And they created, with the evangelic parish, with local community, they created a company with huge support from Volkswagen Group. They made a big factory in Poznań, in West Poland, and they had a long-term contract with this social enterprise for doing simple stuff, but this gives the work for some people, sustainable work, which is also very important. Now, this company, social enterprise, they maintain also some sheltered apartments for 40 people. So they produce the financial result and then make some costs within the operational staff, operational work, also for those sheltered apartments. So if we look at the just tough numbers, so in the pandemic year, they made 150,000 euro, more or less the same 2 years ago. The financial results, you can see, this is not a big deal, right? But they increase the number of employees. And what is very important, they finance other social impact activities within this company. Another sample, this is organizations also that I observed from the very beginning. They were created in 2015, almost 10 years ago, and they deal with the activization of senior people. That was founded by a guy who told me that he observed his grandma when she was passing away, and he saw that she needs so much relationship with other people, but there were no activities for her. She didn't have any place to go out when she was in a good physical state. So he decided to make the association for those people who do not have maybe relatives, whose children went abroad, but who really need some places to meet. And today they have almost 10,000 members in the association, and they run 5 restaurants. They give a special discount for people, senior people, so they can come every day to those restaurants, and which means they can eat good food, which is below the cost of producing the food, which is, you know, they can eat lunch for I think €4 right now, soup plus second plate. And which is very important, they go out to restaurant and they meet other people. So this is really a good sample of organization making surplus. And within that surplus, they can cover the cost of meals for seniors. From Slovakia, this is another organization. They use the loan with the guarantee, easy guarantee, and they didn't have their assets, but they have very strong support from local community, which gave him 10 years lease for big local. So they moved there with their friends, with other people. This is quite artistic environment, and they created really lovely place, cultural place in Bratislava. Polish, another sample of care for elderly people, created by 2 teachers. They were teaching in a place, in a special school for guys, for people with mental disabilities. And they observed that those people, those guys, very young guys, they are really chasing for relationship with other people. Now they are adults, and they can only move to big houses for people with disabilities, which is really very bad for their lives, because they can spend, you know, all life in a big house with only with other people who do not encourage them to have some fun, to, you know, to live real life. So those ladies, those teachers decided to create a house for elderly people who also need relationship with other people, in which they employed those guys as people who serve those elderly people. In addition, those guys are working in a kitchen, so they make catering services locally to hospitals, to schools. So, you know, this is again sort of social enterprise which links different social impact issue. Very important one. And again, if you look at the financial result, this is almost nothing. But the most important for this social enterprise is to be sustainable in terms to keep rentability and to employ more people. So, just let me look at my... Okay, so maybe there will be some questions here, but summarizing, I would say that social entrepreneurship is very important sector, business sector, very specific business sector, but with good perspective to be developed. Maybe you also observe that the business relationships, different links, they are also changing, and the methods, the models of work are changing. The pandemic taught us to work online, so the communication became possible even when we are in distant cities, areas, places. So, I think that some people, some business guys, they also would like to take part in social impact activities. So some commercial businesses, some commercial enterprises, they change in Poland into social impact activities due to the change of the mentality of ideas of the owner. But also they see that they can use different financial instruments to develop their businesses. Of course, they need to share their profits. So they need to decrease their demand for profits. But it is very interesting perspective to observe how this situation is changing. And I think that the social entrepreneurship is one of the best methods for integration of people from disadvantaged groups. To do that, we need to know how to integrate people. This is not a group of employees who would like to come to work, to take their money and to go back home. This is very good to have good employees who just want to deliver good results to work. And they need to be engaged, but not very much to be engaged emotionally. While in social enterprises, people who are employed there, they create sort of a community. They really come to work because they like to be in that enterprise. They feel safely there. They feel recognized. So this is very important for those people to learn how to deal with other people, to make relationship. And then they can go to open market. So in a sense, I think that social entrepreneurship can be alternative for people who are, let's say, burnt out in classical business, in corporations. I would like to underline, I do not consider classical business as something, as a sector which is worse. This is just different sector. And social entrepreneurship, they are different objectives oriented. They just link business and social impact. And in terms of AI, which is really how to say, invading, I would say, our world. And you will have in 3 days, I think, very interesting webinar on AI. So since the social entrepreneurship is based so much on personal relationship, I would say that it might be resistant on AI expansion and what I suppose will happen, decreasing the demand for example, financial analysts, because AI will do that faster. So maybe AI will prepare data and we will just have to make decisions. I don't know, but anyway, this sector, and I would say lots of sectors which are based on relationships between people, they really will be needed, even AI become our everyday life. Okay, so as a final thesis, I would say that sometimes the social enterprise just needs this first step, this first push on domino, and this first 10,000 euro, and then they will make out of that 500,000 euro. So here, I think this is the role of social entrepreneurship supporting system, that we need to recognize whether this is the time to invest into that organization. We need to be on the same side of this organization and try to help them with our financial knowledge, with the knowledge of the market rules, with the knowledge of these economic models that are in the world right now. But we should encourage them. Sometimes it can be just a sentence that will I've forgotten that name, make the change of their way of thinking. Sometimes this is just 10,000 euros, sometimes this is 100,000 euro. But anyway, I think it's very interesting to be with this environment and to observe how they develop. I had that, I was lucky to observe lots of organizations that are today successful from both sides, economic and social impact, which I wish you as well. Grzegorz, maybe there are some questions because I don't see the chat.
Thank you.
So maybe I will switch off the presentation. I could see you then.
You can keep it on in case you want to refer to it. But there's a couple of comments. There's one from Ireland, from Brewery. Not sure, Brewery, if I pronounce your name correctly, Brewery Leonard, saying that in his understanding, there are no social impact bonds being used in Ireland within the social finance sector or social enterprise sector. As Bata mentioned, there are countries where there is a lot of experience with such bonds. Typically, as the front runners, as far as the front runners are concerned, France, Portugal, Finland,
yeah,
the
England,
Netherlands, other countries that have a lot of experience. And we could, if there is interest, I think we could organize a webinar on kind of a multi-stakeholder webinar on that, maybe with investors, governments, and finance field, social finance practitioners or social enterprise sector practitioners. So let us know to what extent. Oh, we have Ruadri. Would you like to say something?
Oh yeah, no, I was answering the I think
Just
was
confirm I pronounce your name properly.
The DH is silent. It's Irish, so
I know it's Irish. So how would you pronounce it?
It's pronounced Rory, so like
Rory. Like Rory.
Rory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was just commenting because I think Teresa mentioned that there was social impact bonds in the UK, and she was querying whether they were being used in Ireland. So I work in Social Finance Foundation, In Ireland, we're probably the main financier of within the social finance sector. We're the wholesaler. We lend to Cloncredo and Community Finance Ireland, who would deal with social enterprises on the ground. And from our perspective, we only provide loan finance. And then there is some hybrid products out there, but generally it's loan finance. I did notice, I saw it was the Council of Europe Development Bank issued a social impact bond recently. It was the first time I came across it in my experience. But yeah, no, if there was a webinar, I would, by all means, I would attend, and we could discuss it with our stakeholders if there's any interest. But with these things, yeah, it's like trying to get social enterprises away from grant dependency to loan finance is the step we're trying to achieve. So maybe social impact bonds will be a next step once the sector in Ireland is more mature, I guess. But no, it's definitely an interesting, cool product, and it's I would definitely be interested in learning more.
Okay, super, very good. Yeah. You can also, if you are part of, I'm not sure if you're part of SIFTA, if you sign up for SIFTA, but if you have, I think it could also be like a visit to one of those countries. If we also find other people from other countries interested in that. So but a webinar would be a good starting point, perhaps. So
yeah, I think I'll sign up. My boss is definitely a member because he forwarded this webinar onto me, so I'll get on the mailing list. But no, thank you.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, I think that as you said, Portugal, England, but I also met people from Austria. There was the Erste Foundation who was the intermediary, and it was a very interesting issue. So yes, it would be very interesting.
They will actually discuss it at the MFC conference in Krakow. That will be in one of the sessions, and we'll have a panel on innovation in inclusive finance, including social enterprises, and Florian Ott from Erste will be there talking about the social impact bonds, among other things. Okay, good, great. Thank you.
I see the hand of Cheryl.
Hello. Hi, Teresa. Thanks for your sharing. I learned a lot also from your experience at TISA Poland. I had a question about, because you mentioned for supporting social enterprises, you also provided a lot of, some form of mentoring or support. And you mentioned a few times that you believe in them. And that was also what made the difference. And I wonder, for MFIs who are really wanting to support social enterprises more, what kind of advice do you have for them in terms of how they should organize themselves, right? Or how do we get loan officers to be more aware that social enterprises need that additional, mentoring support or this community building in order to be supported effectively, and that they can also run for a longer time and be more sustainable? Maybe you have some insights around there to share.
So first of all, you have to see 2-3 social enterprises and to talk to people also who are employees and who are managers. So this is basic, to know how they work, how they operate, what are the sources of financing, because they are not only doing business, not only sale, they receive grants. And they might receive, for example, in North Macedonia, social enterprise. There was another way. There was a private entrepreneur who was supporting many social enterprises with small amounts. So, and there were some others who were encouraged to do that. And there was the Polish embassy who also granted some grants to them. So what is the way of financing social enterprises locally? Yes, how they use the money. And I would say that conversation with them, just analyzing with them how they see the market, how they see the clients, what are their competitors, whether they are open to cooperate with others. So as I said, this is relationship. So this is basically conversations with them and with partners, because what we used to do, for example, that we needed to have a collateral for a small social enterprise which declared to us that they will have contracts with local community. So we asked social enterprise to ask local community to write down declaration that they intend, letter of intention, that they would like to make an order for some services. And it was good for us, but it was also good for the social enterprise, because they had sort of declaration. Of course, it was not liability from the local community towards them, but someone signed a paper that they will support social enterprise. So this way, I mean, showing social enterprise what they can receive from locally. Another sample, the organization which I show you that runs the Center for Elderly People and employs guys with mental disabilities. So they negotiated with local community to buy the premises for the house for elderly people for 1% of its value, under condition that it will be dedicated to run social services. So it is also possible that that kind of support from local community. So I think that this is the way, if even social enterprise comes to you with some idea. So it is very important to check all possibilities of supporting them from other institutions. You give money, yes, you lend money, and you need this collateral to mitigate the risk the money is not paid back. But in that sense, as I said, their success is your success. So you also support them with looking for other supporters. It happens once that the bank officer, he directed a person. It was local bank, social cooperative bank. There is one person from cooperative bank here. So there was a case that rich person came to the bank director saying he has 2,100 euro and he would like to give it to some well-doing organization, social enterprise. So the bank director said to social enterprise that they can talk with that person. So, it is linking people with locally. I think this is a great support for them. And this belief, yes, that you believe what they really want to do.
Thank you very much.
Super. I wonder if there are any other questions. We're coming to the end of the webinar, so there's your chance for the last question to ask. I can also see a statement from Agnieszka Kowalska. We are also helping social enterprises. We give them money to create jobs, especially for excluded people, including the disabled. We provide substantive support and advice. We cooperate with the district labor office. I actually may have a question about to Teresa about tools. I'm sure there are some ready-made tools that may help institutions, especially those that haven't done any social enterprise lending yet. Just tools that support to analyze them, that would support them in analyzing their impact. Just can you maybe, are you aware of any such tools? Kind of ready-made sort of frameworks that would help potential providers of finance to support social enterprises in a meaningful way.
Of course, we had special Excel spreadsheets indicating some economic indicators like EBITDA, like turnover, like profits, etc., like forecast of balance sheet and P&L. And we also, I mean, Beata would say about models that were created for analyzing of social venture capital applicants. And this is for economic parts of analysis. But for the social impact analysis, it was just the conversation, study visit at the place when they operated, and just their declaration that they will, I don't know, work on saving energy. So as for social impact indicators, here we do not have any particular tool to measure properly that. I think, as I said, this is something to develop, to be developed in Poland.
Okay. Okay, super. So I think we have come to the end, unless there is something, there's the really last pressing question. There's only one about the presentations. Yes, definitely we'll share the presentation deck with all of the participants. So I think it's a moment to thank Teresa for almost 2 hours of this very inspiring and interesting presentation. Let me also thank you for your time to attend this webinar. And yes, I would like to invite you to those other events that we are planning. Let us also know if there are topics of interest to you that we can tackle within SIFTA. So thanks a lot for your participation, and see you at the next MFC webinar. Thanks a lot.
Thanks all. Thanks to all, and have a good day.
And have a good day. Thank you. Bye.